Welcome to what is maybe the first episode of a book that will receive no praise whatsoever. This is Mike Lupica's The Batboy. Is this book good? No, it's not. Is this book fun? Yes. It's just fan fiction. It's fan fiction for middle school me is really what this is. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't. The plot of this book kind of doesn't make any sense. There's actually a really nice kind of storytelling element to it, where our main character is playing baseball at kind of like that late middle school level, early high school level of like the all-stars and whatnot. And then there is him being a bat boy for the Tigers, and there's a fun parallel between the two of them. However, it's just fan fiction. It really is. But that doesn't mean it's not a fun book, right? It took me, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half to read the whole thing. I just did in one sitting after work. And, I came into it understanding that it was going to be a good book. But I was still smiling at the end of it, right? I was still laughing, both at the ridiculousness of it, but also how, heartwarming it is, right? This is like, a 3 out of 10, maybe a 4 pushing it, but it's probably like a 3 out of 10. I mean, if you don't like baseball, if you don't kind of get it, then this isn't gonna be the story for you. This book is actually about finding joy in the things that you used to. And we see that in really our 3 main characters, in Hank Bishop, who I would argue is actually the real main character of the story, but that's besides the point. In Brian Dudley, who was our actual narrator and main character, but then also Liz Dudley, who was Brian Dudley's mom. All 3 of them really, the point of it is that they fall in love with something that they used to not love anymore, or fell out of love with for a short while. See, this book was never going to win any awards. It was published in 2010. One of the most interesting things about this book is trying to figure out who Mike Lupica based Hank Bishop off of. And my closest guess is actually Dave Justice. Justice, Bishop, Dave, Hank. I think it's close enough. I think there's a reasonable connection there. From the stories that I remember about Dave Justice, who played baseball when I was like 2 years old, it was like his final season. But Justice was like, he wanted to play baseball, and he loved playing baseball, and he was really good at playing baseball, and just hated everyone else. That's like my vague recollection of Dave Justice as a baseball player. And that's really kind of what Hank Bishop is in the majority of this book. But yeah, it's fan fiction. It's so unbelievable that it's hilarious. This idea that, like Brian Dudley, who's our narrator in this, is working, and he does something bad for Hank Bishop. He does the wrong thing. He screws up completely, and then Bishop is reaming him out and kind of talking to him like after the game or whatnot. And then Brian Dudley's mom shows up and was like, makes some jab about Hank being Brian's favorite baseball player. then and then they go on a date. Like the date is set up in that moment, which is just wild in so many ways. Of like, yeah, you know, I hate your kid. I've hated your kid this entire time. But Liz, you are so unbelievably attractive, apparently, that I'm gonna say, screw the kid. Screw it. I don't care if I have to come over to this kid's house that I hate. But like imagine like if you were, you know, in any other work type situation, right? Like I'm going to be a teacher, right? Let's say that I'm going in as a teacher and I get kind of like this kind of like menial role as a teacher, you know, and I get like I'm doing a whole bunch of the grunt work for other people just because that's what I have to do or whatnot, which isn't how teachers work, but let's just say, right? And I do something like I hand like the principal the wrong copies of something or like the wrong textbook order and it screws everything over. The principal's just reaming me out in front of the school, and then my mom shows up. And the principal goes, you know what? I don't even care anymore because I want to date your mom. What? What? Anyways, that's the joy of Mike Lupica's The Batboy. It is ludicrous, and it is fan fiction, but it's fun. It's not a great book, but it's fun, and that's really all that matters while reading.